Hi guys, good morning. Reverend Victor here with another school assembly. This is our 7th assembly of the year. Can you believe that? 7 assemblies. We're really flying through the year at the moment. Now next week I won't be with you because it's your mid-term break and you're off for the Halloween holidays. So I thought that this morning that we would have a Halloween themed assembly. So I hope you're able to see on the camera there these few various bits and pieces I have here. Underneath this witch's hat is a pumpkin. Well, it's not a real pumpkin, of course, it's a glass pumpkin with a candle inside it. At the front here I have some nuts. There's some peanuts and hazelnuts and other different types of nuts. And over here I have some fruit, an apple, a pear and another apple. And then beside it here I have this scary little chap here, this scarecrow. But anyway, boys and girls, I wonder, do you know that New Year's Eve used to be on the 31st of October? Yeah, maybe some of you knew that, maybe some of you didn't. Well, at the moment, New Year's Eve is December the 31st and New Year's Day is the 1st day of January. But many, many centuries ago, New Year's Eve was the 31st of October, which is Halloween. Yes, very good. So Halloween night was New Year's Eve, and it was a very important time of the year for people, and that's the reason why at this time of year we see lots and lots of fruit and nuts available in the supermarket. Well, the truth is you can buy these at any time of the year because nowadays we're able to import lots of food. So for example, just as Ireland exports food, that means we sell food that we grow here to other countries. We also import food, so that's where we buy food from other countries. So we import goods and we export goods. So Ireland exports lots and lots of food. Agriculture is very important for our economy, but it means that there are different times of the year when it's not possible to grow certain things in Ireland. So we have to import them, but we can import things at any time of the year. So we can import oranges, strawberries, grapes. So even though we grow strawberries here in Ireland, we can only grow them at certain times of the year, but we can import strawberries and raspberries and blackberries at any time of the year from other countries where they're grown at different times of the year. But at the time when Halloween was New Year's Eve, that was a time when it wasn't possible to import food. So the harvest was very important, and I'm sure you all know what the harvest is, don't you, boys and girls? Yes, the harvest is that time of the year when farmers are gathering in all the different crops and they're putting them into barns to be able to feed animals over the winter and also to be able to feed ourselves. So harvest has always been a very, very important time for farmers, and it was such an important time for people many, many centuries ago that they celebrated New Year when the harvest was brought in. So beginning with the 1st of November was the start of a new year. Now Halloween doesn't mean New Year's Eve, it means something else. Can you guess what it means? Can you remember when we looked at the Lord's Prayer and we said, hallowed be your name, hallowed be thy name, hallowed be God's name? Means holy is God's name. So hallow means holy, very good, and een is a short way of saying evening, so holy evening. And that was a very special time for people as well, the holy evening, when people gathered and prayed together and they wanted to be kept safe for the coming year ahead. And they actually believed that by maybe putting on face masks like a skeleton or a scary monster, that it would protect them because it would be a way of scaring away monsters. But we know, boys and girls, that monsters don't exist, even though we see lots and lots of books in our shop like this at the moment. Yes, you see lots of books like this on sale at the moment, ghost stories and monster tales and all sorts of different things like that. But there's another book that's particularly important for us, and that's the Bible, and I'll come to that in just a second. I'm going to show you some pictures. Well, boys and girls, here are some pictures I just want to show you. This is the story of Little Miss Muffet. Have you heard of this before? Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey, when along came a spider and sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away. So there's Miss Muffet seated on her tuffet, which is a little stool eating her curds and whey. And there's the spider. Can you see him there? No. I have to admit, boys and girls, I'm afraid of spiders. Lots of people are afraid of spiders, like Miss Muffet, who had to run away when the spider came. And I don't know if you know the word for fear of spiders. It's called arachnophobia. Have you ever heard that word before? Arachnophobia. That means fear of spiders. I'll just show you another picture here. I'll just move Miss Muffet. Now, you can guess what that is. Oh, that's a mouse. Now, not a very scary mouse, but a lot of people are afraid of mice. So there, I'll just move him out of the way. Well, you see his teeth there. Mice are always chewing at things. Their teeth always keep on growing, so they're always chewing. Now here we have a snake. See? A lot of people are afraid of snakes. You might remember St. Patrick, whose feast day we celebrate on the 17th of March. St. Patrick banished the snakes from Ireland, but there's still people in Ireland who are afraid of snakes. So just move the snake out of the way. Now, who's this guy here? And what's that he's got? I'm sure you all know who that is. That's Cookie Monster. See, there's the giant cookie he's about to tuck into. Well, Cookie Monster is a monster, and a lot of people are afraid of monsters, but thankfully, my goodness, monsters don't exist, only for the monsters on television and in the movies, and like Cookie Monster there. So, and now, look at this chap here. Can you guess who that is? That's Count Von Count, and Count Von Count is a Muppet, like Cookie Monster, but he's also a vampire. A lot of people are afraid of vampires, so a lot of people think that vampires are real and monsters are real, but they aren't. But snakes are very real, even though there mightn't be any in Ireland. And mice are very real, and there are lots of them in Ireland. And finally, back to Miss Muffet with the spider. Yes, there are lots of spiders in Ireland. Thankfully, the spiders in Ireland are really, really small. We just have what are called house spiders, and spiders out in the countryside, and they don't get very big at all. Certainly not the size of this guy here, but in some parts of the world there can be really, really big spiders. But the thing is, so as I say, spiders are real, mice are real, snakes are real, but monsters aren't. But still, we have our fears. All of us have various different fears. And so I'll just go back now to the table and we'll talk a bit more about fears. Okay guys, welcome back to our little Halloween display here. Now, we were looking a few moments ago at the pictures of different things that can make us feel scared or afraid, and I was talking to you before that about the Bible. Now, in the Bible are mentioned the words, and they're mentioned 365 times. Why else is 365 significant or important? Did you guess? Right, there's 365 days in a year. Well, that's apart from a leap year when there's 366 days, but usually in a year there are 365 days. So once for every day mentioned in the Bible are the words, do not be afraid. Did you guess that? Do not be afraid. Let's see, like when the Archangel Gabriel appeared to Mary, he said to her, do not be afraid, Mary, because she was really anxious. And when he appeared to her and told her that she was going to give birth to the baby Jesus. And also when the disciples were at the storm at sea and they were very fearful that their boat was going to sink, Jesus told them not to be afraid. So God doesn't want us to be afraid. Jesus doesn't want us to be afraid. But like the spider, like the mice and snakes, sometimes our fears can kind of get the better of us. It's easy to tell ourselves, oh gosh, don't be afraid, that the spider's more afraid of me than I am of him. But the reality is that when we see a spider or a snake or something that we're afraid of, our immediate reaction can be one of fear and shock, and we can be full of anxiety and worry. But the important thing to remember, boys and girls, is God doesn't want us to worry or to be afraid. So when we turn to him in our prayer at night, talk to him about the different things that maybe that we're worried about or that we're afraid of, because it's important to share with him our fears and our worries, and we'll feel that sense of fear going down, and the sense of hope and trust and love in God rising up with us when we share in prayer with God the different things that are worrying us or that we're anxious about. And it's also a good idea too, boys and girls, that if there's something you're particularly worried or anxious about, to share it with your mum and dad, or maybe your granny or your granddad, or one of your teachers there at school. Always share different things that might be worrying you, or that you're anxious about or a little worried about, because sometimes, as they say, a problem shared is a problem halved. So it's a good idea to talk to people, but most importantly to talk to God, who created us, who brought us into being, and who loves us. Well, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed our assembly this morning, and I hope you have a pleasant Halloween. I don't think there'll be many parties or trick-or-treating this year because of the COVID coronavirus, but if you're having a party at home, or maybe with some of your family, I hope you really enjoy it and have a very, very happy Halloween. And we finish up, boys and girls, first of all with the Lord's Prayer and then the school prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen. And now let me see the school prayer. This is our school. Let peace dwell here. Let the room be full of contentment. Let love abide here. Love of one another, love of life itself, and love of God. Amen. Well, boys and girls, and to your teachers and the staff there in Clonenagh National School, I hope you have a very pleasant midterm break, and be safe and keep well, and see you again soon. God bless you all. Bye bye.